Choose who can participate. Close. Learn more right now. I have to add a moderator to my channel, it says. I don't know how to do that. So to make it safe, I guess. All right. Anyway, I have not gone live in a really long time, guys. So here I am live, Jane Voneman-DuPerow, psychic and medium, TV show host, author of the book Tune Into the Magic Within. What am I going to be reading about today? I want to let you know that I have a chance to read for the brother of a famous missing person case. She went missing from Kent State University around 1970s. I believe 1978. Forgive me if I'm wrong about this date exactly, or this year. Her name is Judy Martins, and her brother is going to come to me for a reading, and I'm really, really excited to help because I already got some downloads from her in the spirit world. I really like to do missing person cases because it helps me strengthen my psychic abilities, and psychics only volunteer on missing person cases. They usually are supposed to volunteer for only the police department, but in this case, I'm reading for the family. And if a psychic hones in on the location of the body or something, they lead the seer, the person that's coming for the reading, to the body, or the bones that turn up. They could actually themselves, as the psychic, get arrested for a day and have to prove their way out of it, that, the police officers are like, how did you know where the body was located? Well, I saw it in my third eye. I saw it in a vision, and I led the grandmother of the victim over to the site where she could find her granddaughter, or something like that, for instance. And then, it's like, okay, so you're supposed to only read for the law enforcement or the detectives on these cases if you're a psychic. You're not supposed to read for the family members. But in this case, I'm reading for the family member because it's such a cold case. The law enforcement, they're not going to be working on this anymore. And, I'm protecting the light and nothing happens. And I was told that for some missing person cases, they're really cold, that the psychic or medium just does the magic on it so that the bones turn up. They just cast a circle, and then they either find the perpetrator with the circle they cast, or the bones turn up and they find the person or the perpetrator. So that's the other thing about cold case readings, that yes, a lot of psychics are, they call them soothsayers, and they call them sleuths, psychic sleuths. I remember when I was working on the case, because I was really connected to it, of Amanda Berry and Gina DeJesus. And I actually told the detectives, and I got to ride in the car with them and feel a vibe on it. And I said, yes, they're in the area. They're somewhere around here. It was in the Cleveland area. I said, and somebody is keeping them hostage or something in a house. And that's right around the area here. And I felt like it was like trafficking, sex trafficking. And they're like, okay. And so, like, I described even to the T the house. Well, here, and then I called, and, because my spirit guides kept saying, Antonio. Well, my stepdaughter was dating somebody at the time named Antonio, but his last name was Castro. So my spirits kept saying Antonio. Well, here they were trying to tell me the name Castro. And my husband and I went to the candlelight vigil for Amanda Berry and for Gina DeJesus, the three girls missing in Cleveland, with Michelle Knight. And here, Ariel Castro, he was at the vigil, the candlelight vigil, because he knew the family. And he, I looked right at him, and I said to myself, that's the perpetrator right there. Too bad I didn't act on that more, because I didn't know what to do at the time. Then he went to jail. Finally, he got caught. And there's something hugely in the story, too, about a fundraiser that I went to with Charles, who opened the door for those girls. Finally, the neighbor that came to, help them because he heard her screams. Live froze up for a minute because I had a phone call coming in. But anyway, here we are. We are, many, many years later. And the story is I found a felt rabbit on the ground of the bar that Charles was at the fundraiser, talked to him, and I was like, wow, what does this rabbit represent? Magic represents magic. So I took the rabbit home and I saved it for a while, and then it kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened to it, but I'm just telling you my story. So now there are a lot of things going on with people coming in, and what were you talking about lately? The subject that came into my mind. I'm kind of downloading this information psychically to tell you guys, to help you guys today, that there's something called a trauma bond that you have with someone. If you're in a relationship with someone and you have a trauma bond, it's like you both went something very traumatic in your life and you're kind of bad for each other. It's like taking the drug heroin, it's the trauma bond person that you're in love with or you think you're in love with is trying to trigger all your trauma and you can't get away from them. You're like addicted to that person or codependent on that person. So, what have I been doing is realizing that people heal layers of trauma. Even people that, went missing and they were found, and all these victims of people, and, that they share somewhat of a trauma bond with the person that was the perpetrator. Isn't that interesting? But the person that perpetrated and took them, they have a trauma bond, and then they in turn become codependent on that person, and they, it's like the what's that syndrome called where you start to fall in love with your abductor or something, but I can't think of it right now what it's called, but the terminology, I'll think of it in a minute. But so getting back to the subject that I want to talk about is the trauma, like how to heal trauma in your body and famous missing person cases, two subjects that I'm trying to talk about today. There is such a thing as the DSM-5 diagnosis. In the book, The Body Keeps the Score, there's a really good book that was New York Times bestseller. Bessel van der Kolk, MD, wrote it, Kolk. The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma. Trauma stays stuck in our brains. So how do we heal it? It's healed in layers, but it's healed by people that trigger our trauma too. Okay? So when DSM-5 was published in May 2013, it included some 300 disorders in its 945 pages. 300 disorders. It offers a veritable smorgasbord of possible labels for the problems associated with severe early life trauma, including some new ones, such as disruptive mood regulation disorder, non-suicidal self-injury, intermittent explosive disorder, dysregulated social engagement disorder, and disruptive impulse control disorder. Disruptive impulse control disorder is the one that I'm going to focus on a lot today. Like making an impulsive decision that totally sabotages your life. Okay? These are disorders. Dysregulated social engagement, that's a huge one. Like you can't engage the way you should socially with people. Now, they call them different things. They call them bipolar. They call things schizophrenia. They call things mood disorders. They call things borderline personality disorder too. Like those are all probably from the same diagnosis, veritable smorgasbord of disruptive mood regulation disorders. And it's from early life trauma, including some new ones. Okay, so the trauma could be early life. I couldn't afford daycare for my child, so I had to leave it with the babysitter who had 5 children, and she left my son in a swing all day long. And when we came to pick up my son, he was just like this. like he did it. He got so done of crying all day to get attention and somebody to hold him, that so that trauma is huge in a child. Neglect, severe neglect. And, oh, please join me. I'm a psychic and medium. I'm going to answer all your questions today in the chat. So come join me. Please bring some friends and family to the live. So that's what I'm talking about today is, healing the layers of trauma. I'm talking about missing person cases also. I know I'm blending two together, and that's going to probably confuse people, but it's huge trauma. So the other thing I was going to say is another example. You left your baby with the babysitter, and the baby grows up to have trauma and huge social anxiety. It's like, for some reason, a person had to come in and experience this journey to be able to heal. Okay? I had a trauma when I was a baby also. I was born with this hole right here. I don't know if you can see the scar, but it's right here. And it was a hole in my neck. So immediately it got infected after the doctor had to skin graft over it. And if I press on it enough, I feel like I'm going to pass out because it goes in, like it dips in. So the skin graft lasted my whole lifetime. Thank God, I'm the age I'm at and it's still good. But sometimes I kind of feel it hurting or pulling. And I feel like this is early life trauma, and it affects people later in life, and it affects the nervous system and things like that. So I'm not talking about my stuff, but I want to help people on here to help to support them in their stuff. So if anybody wants to come on here with me and had some trauma. So it really affects the brain chemistry. It affects DDT. It affects so many things. The body keeps the score. Developmental trauma, the hidden epidemic. Trauma from early life in childhood really can put a number on somebody. And then it has to, like, the layers of the onion have to start peeling. And, are parents responsible for their children trauma? Like if a kid gets abducted, are the parents, or is it the child from early life trauma that caused them to think about it and manifest it and get abducted and missing or murdered, and it's something that I think the parents are somewhat responsible too. Like, did they have trauma from their early childhood and then they met the person, like in the JonBenet Ramsey case. JonBenet Ramsey probably had some trauma, and it led her to the perpetrator, but the perpetrator probably knew the parents somewhere in the energy field. The parents drew this situation to them to hurt their daughter, and voila, she went missing and murdered, and it's horrible, I mean, she didn't go missing. She was found in her basement, but, it's just like, and I heard spirits say construction worker just now. I heard did they ever solve that case? They never solved that case, but I heard spirits say construction worker. So it's interesting. Maybe I will name this video something about the JonBenet Ramsey missing person case so it gets some views. Top fans. I have a button that says top fans. Be the first in the leaderboard by showing support. Try sending a live chat on Super Chat. I really don't know how to do that. I'm really out of the loop when it comes to how to do YouTube because I haven't done my YouTube in so long. I haven't went live on YouTube in so long. A 49-second short was uploaded to your channel as unlisted. Oh my God. See, I press these buttons and I'm like, what? Okay. All I know is I really chat filter, top messages, community moderation, on live chat summary, on participant mode, anyone, message delay, for the channel, blocked words, community defaults. I don't know all this stuff. All I know is I've got to keep this video at least 20 minutes for YouTube. I wanted to try to start going live again on YouTube. I've gone live on Instagram. I've gone live on TikTok. You can find me mostly on TikTok. My website is psychicjane.co. When I go live on TikTok, because I have 98,000 followers over there, I do the psychic readings for them, and I do the mediumship readings. I do the free mediumship. So you can go over there and subscribe to me as a super fan. You can also watch my film today, Loose Leaves and Tea, as you're watching. Please watch my film. Hit the subscribe button and subscribe free to me on YouTube. And my film is only a 12-minute long film, so it's a short film. And it was so fun because I had all the actors and actresses come out to my house. We filmed it. I had Raina, the little girl who played Bella. I had the guy that played Charles, the perpetrator. And it's based on my book, Loose Leaves and Tea. So I wrote a book called Loose Leaves and Tea through Book Baby. And then I wrote another book, Tune Into the Magic Within, through Balboa Press. You can order both those books, I believe, on Amazon. Just want to cover all territory here. I've done an app in the App Store called Spirit Dice, which is no longer in the App Store. You just shake the phone and the alphabetical dice roll out and they spell out a message for you from the other side. Really, really cool. I might start that again. I might do a new app even. Who knows? I have to talk to Steve Young on that. He's the app master guy. But anyway, this is, getting back started here. And, I'm thinking about the disruptive impulse control disorder. Like that somebody needs to be diagnosed that. And I think that that's kind of what is along the lines too of like somebody that is a perpetrator, that they probably have that problem, control disorder, like impulse control disorder. That they just can't stop themselves from sabotaging themselves in their life and ruining their life, really, because they do something stupid. But we're not going to go into all that. We're going to just go into the people that make the mistakes in their lives, and they were bad mistakes, but it gets them into huge trouble, and it's hard for them to get out of trouble. Dysregulated social engagement, explosive disorder, intermittent explosive disorder, meaning anger, severe anger issues. Non-suicidal self-injury, like injuring themselves, cutting themselves, disruptive mood regulation disorder, all these things we're going to talk about. I mean, we're trying to talk about as many things as we can in this live, trying not to confuse people, but all I can say is Jesus heals everything. Like you can really go to the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit, I keep finding these little plastic Jesuses, and Jesus will heal you. God, the Holy Spirit, will heal you of anything. So you can have a better life. So get the book that heals the trauma, because it's called the book, The Body Keeps the Score. It's a great book to heal trauma. Anybody that that's connected to a missing person case, it's really deep, dark stuff. It just traumatizes so many people. Like it's a domino effect. Like this person who did the abduction, they don't realize how many lives they are traumatizing, and so they're going to get like huge karma back. And, it's just like a blow to so many people. And I'm just reading this sentence here. It says, diagnostic reliability isn't an abstract issue. If doctors can't agree on what ails their patients, there is no way they can provide proper treatment. When there's no relationship between diagnosis and cure, a mislabeled patient is bound to be a mistreated patient. You would not want to have your appendix removed when you are suffering from a kidney stone. And you would not want to have somebody labeled as oppositional when, in fact, his behavior is rooted in an attempt to protect himself against real danger. Interesting. that statement right there makes an impact. This book is really cool. I really like this book. Development Trauma, The Hidden Epidemic. That we have a hidden epidemic of developmental trauma. My zodiac sign is Scorpio. And I was born in Salem, Massachusetts on October 30th, the day before Halloween. And that's, I feel, what led me to become a psychic medium. So I do missing person cases. If you want to seek me out and go to my website, psychicjane.co, contact me about your missing person case, and I will read for you, either a phone reading or whatever. You can get my phone number from my website, psychicjane.co, and I will help solve your missing person case, okay? Thank you for watching. I went about 20 minutes on this live. I just wanted to start with a short live, short, simple, and to the point. Sorry, I hope I didn't confuse you all by mixing a lot of subject matter together. But I'm going to label this reading today. Psychic Medium talks about trauma and famous missing person cases. All right. Thank you. Love you all. Have a great day.